What'd you
You know it's just water because there's no ice. Either that
say?
or the ice already melted.
Uh,
You might know by the end of the episode.
might. Welcome to Creating Connections podcast, episode 44, right?
Yep.
Cuatro, cuatro.
44.
Yeah, Vickie used to be a Spanish teacher. I just pretend to know Spanish.
That's so dangerous.
That is true. That's the truth. We found that out at the tequileria in
I was gonna
Vallarta.
say, at least you can buy tequila. Priorities. I mean, it's all about practical application of skills, right? There you
Exactly.
go.
Thank you
The
for
important
joining us
things.
today. And today we're going to talk about bridal fairs, bridal shows, bridal expos. They're called various different things around the country. Regardless of what you call them, I think they're a big, big moneymaker, or can be a big, big moneymaker, depending on how you approach it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
as we're keeping with current theme, this is a topic that Vickie needs to discuss because the fact she has an upcoming bridal show.
And this
Because
is
it's
my first time doing a bridal show that I don't get to be at. So
it's
it's definitely different for me as a business owner.
it's really all about Vickie. We're just trying to help. You're just along for the ride. Uh,
Just in keeping with the theme, do you guys have one coming up too?
yes, we have one on Saturday.
I thought so. So you try to make it all about me. We have one coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, but see, the
But
difference
you
is
have one
I
on the
know what
7th.
I'm doing. No. It's Bang on Vickie Day. Just kidding. Seriously, we're just kidding.
Okay.
Vickie has an upcoming bridal show.
Focus.
Actually, while we are going to be in Tampa, I believe, at the upcoming ADJA chapter meeting in Tampa.
And this is why it's hard for me right now because I know what I do and I know what my focus is when I go to bridal fairs, but it's hard for me to think about having to really coach somebody else to do what I do.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm struggling because there are some things. In fact, I don't know if you remember years ago, I wrote an article for Mobile Beat, and it was called My Bridal Show Secret.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point of it is I don't go to bridal shows to meet brides. And I would go in with the mindset of I'm here to network. I'm here to meet other vendors.
Yeah.
I'm here to support the people I know, to find out who the new up and coming people are. And I would literally just, Craig and I would show up together with all of our stuff. I'd help him get everything into the booth. I'd leave him to set up, and I would go walk around. And
Yeah.
I would go meet people. I would go help people carry stuff. I'd bring cases of water or coffee drinks or sodas, whatever, with me the day of the show. And my whole focus up until the time it starts, and then as soon as it's over, I mean, yeah, I talk to brides while I'm there, but my personal focus was always to build relationships.
It's a secondary focus to me. That focus of, focusing on the actual, uh, internal client, if you will, versus the external guest,
Yes.
or the internal guest versus the external guest. That was Carnival hospitality training. I think we've talked about that before.
Yep.
But from that standpoint, that's why I always show up to a show early as much as you can, or stay late, one of the two.
I do both. And usually we have set up hours the day before.
Yeah.
So I try to do that. So I'm there on both days. And Craig can do some of that, but it's just different. Like the other people I have that are going to be helping him the day of,
Yeah.
they'll be there. They'll be fine connecting with brides, but they won't be able to do that other stuff that I usually do.
Well,
So
he's a different personality than you are too, and so that
yes,
plays
and
into
he
it.
can't set up our own stuff and be setting up everybody else's at the same time.
Right. Exactly.
It always worked well for me because I never had to do anything for our own booth.
We'll just cut that. It always worked well for me because I never had to do anything. We'll just cut it right there. And
So manipulative.
well, when you're the one editing the podcast, I can create whatever I want. So anyway, regarding that, absolutely, I think it's important to network with other vendors while you are there. That is crucial, either before or afterwards. Oftentimes,
Yeah.
we used to set up a dinner with a couple of photographers or local wedding pros afterwards, and just go to dinner afterwards at an Applebee's or whatever, and hang out and chat. Our wedding fair coming up, our bridal fair coming up on Saturday. We're unable to set up early, unfortunately. I thought we are going to be able to, but now we're not. So we'll see how that plays out. But in regards to your problem of, how do I get someone to share my philosophy of the company, or how do I get someone to understand how to present my services, right? I can only share what we do with our past brides when we have them help us at the booth. And that is, I just want you to share your knowledge of our company.
Yeah.
Of your experience with our company, with the brides that are coming through the booth. And whether that is just, chatting with them and talking to them about, what you did for your wedding and why you chose Tailored Weddings for your event and what your experience was, by all means do that. Pricing isn't discussed whatsoever.
Yeah, that's not their place.
Yeah, that's not a part of it, but they are encouraged if they want to set a meeting, absolutely. Here's a card, the scratch-off card deal that we've talked about before, I'm pretty sure, in the podcast.
Yep.
We talked about the scratch-off deal. If you don't know what the scratch-off deal is...
Go ahead, share it again. It's good stuff.
Oh, I was going to say put a message at the bottom, but the scratch-off deal is essentially designed... that was kind of the genesis of our meeting, actually. Ironically enough, back in 2013 or whatever it was. And how that really came about was... I was in Victoria's Secret in the Mall of America buying something for my wife, Michelle. And I saw this scratch-off card that was given on the checkout, right? And I'm like, that's a pretty cool way to get people to come back.
Yep.
And I'm like, how can I apply this to my business? And I thought, ooh, I'll give a scratch-off card to the bridal show if they book a meeting. We'll write their information on the card. And then when they come into the meeting to sit down with us, out of the hustle and bustle of the bridal show, then we'll scratch off and see what they win.
Yep.
And so,
I love it.
Yeah, it gives them an opportunity to want, an incentive, if you will, to book a meeting with you. You're getting them out of the hustle and bustle of the bridal show where there's so much going on that they get overwhelmed. And you're able to have some quiet time, chat about their event. And again, you're offering something on the scratch-off card itself that is of high dollar value to them, but low cost to you.
Yep.
That's the key.
Well, I think the key is really what you said about getting them out of the hustle and bustle and acknowledging that they're in an overwhelming environment.
Yes.
And I think I've shared this with you before. Our cards that we collect information on actually say across the top, yes, I'm overwhelmed by everything going on at the fair. Please contact me later. And it gets a laugh out of people when I show it to them and they're like, yes, that's how I feel. Yes, I will give you my information. So we stopped doing, giveaways and like raffles and that kind of stuff because I found we were getting a higher number of leads, but they weren't necessarily qualified leads.
Yeah.
They're people just fishing for a freebie. And this way, I'm only coming home with a stack of cards of people that truly want me to call them, to follow up with them, or they've committed. If they make the appointment, we write it down on the card right then.
Yeah.
But to me, I've had fewer people that I have to think about, which for me is nice, but I can also just really zero in on the people that I've started to connect with that day.
Well, in the scratch off idea too, I love your verbiage there because it works, right? And the scratch off idea too, it requires them. It's not just a freebie they can pick up at the show.
No, absolutely. It gets them to meet with you.
Yeah, they're investing their time to come meet to actually see what they get and kind of go from there.
And we've heard you talk about that. We just haven't done it yet.
Well, there's other options to do that too. So
but we've done our workshops at the fair too. We started a couple 2 or 3 shows ago doing timeline workshops, and we would time them 2 weeks after the fair so that we've got invitations to give the brides that we talk to. And sometimes that's the hook. Oh, wait, you're just teaching a free class? Absolutely. Yeah, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
And then I get them in a more captive environment.
Yes.
We do it in 1864, that bar that I
Yeah,
took
yeah,
you to last time you were in
yeah.
town. Yeah, so I just get half the bar on a Sunday afternoon. We've got the screen, the PowerPoint. It's very groom friendly, so my chances of getting the guys there too is better, and that's important to me. And I can connect with them in a smaller group where I can control what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm also, while I'm talking them through timeline stuff, I'm showing video samples. So without even trying, I'm also selling our video services
Sure.
too, because I'm showing them moments that we've created and things that
Absolutely.
they can do. So but I think it's just, yes, you want to connect that day, but you also have to be strategic in how you're going to create that next connection. Whether it's bring the scratch off card back to me, or
Right.
come to this class, or whatever it is that you decide to do, you have to be thinking 3 steps ahead,
Well,
and leaving yourself a path that, how a plan. How am I going to connect
yeah, you need to have
next?
a plan. Plans are key. You can't just go into a show willy-nilly and be thinking, well, how am I going to set this up? And you have
You
no
can, you
idea
just
of,
won't have very good results,
well,
probably,
yeah,
but
but I mean, some people walk into a bridal show and they're like, well, I don't know, should I put it over here or here? No, you need to know how you're setting up your
yeah.
booth, how you're going to have traffic go through your booth, what's going to be your gotta have that's going to
Mhm.
make her think about you and make you stand out from any other wedding pro there after the event. So for us, it's scratch off cards. Uh,
Mhm.
for you, it's that workshop at 1864 where we're surrounded by, amazing history and some cool drinks and appetizers and some wedding knowledge.
Yep.
And for another way, if you're sitting here like, well, okay, I don't have a space like that, and I don't have money for, scratch off cards. Here's a,
I don't buy their drinks, by the way. I just have it at the bar. The bar likes it because I bring people in.
well, exactly. But here's the bootstrapper's idea. You don't have any money? Just put some offers in envelopes. Seal them. Write their name on them. Done. It doesn't have to be all fancy. I mean, scratch off card is great because people like it.
Because it looks cool.
It looks cool, and frankly, I can buy 1,000 of those bad boys, run the same thing, three different seasons in a row.
Yep.
You can switch it up after 1 or 2 seasons if you want to, depending on how many bridal shows you go to and what the size of them are and things like that. But up here,
and if you buy those bulk,
yeah, we have small number bridal shows up here, so I can get through 1,000 in probably 2 or 3 seasons, easy, no problem. So it makes it easy for you to work out and do something to stand out from anyone else at a show. But you got to have that plan. You got to know.
I think it's important, and I talk about this a lot with people when I coach business owners on networking. And I think the same concept applies to the bridal fair, both in light of how you approach the vendors as well as the brides. You have to break it down into a before, during, and after.
Yes.
And if you're missing any one of those components, you're not going to have as successful of an event. And so you need to think through, okay, what am I going to do beforehand to prepare? What is my focus while I'm there? And what is my plan for follow-up? And you have to do that both with brides as well as for the other professionals that you have an opportunity to network with.
Yeah.
And you've got to just make that plan going in.
Casey Kokora.
In fact, shameless plug, you can go download a free networking guide for your personality type at VickieMusni.com.
Shameless plug. We're all about.
I know, I sound like you.
Shameless plugs over here. Casey Kokora runs Windy City Wedding Show and also has branched into the Milwaukee area as well for bridal shows here. And he's got lots and lots and lots of brides at his shows. And I know, we talked before, and one of his big things he complains about, or not complains about, but just notices, I guess, probably the best way to say it, is that, wedding pros don't follow up after the bridal show. And it's crucial. You have to have campaigns in place for follow-up. And another shameless plug, I am about to release a brand new system.
So this is more than a shameless plug. This is like kind of a big announcement.
It kind of is a big announcement.
Yeah.
In fact, I just offered it to a coaching client that I have this afternoon for the first time ever.
Wow.
And he actually decided to go through to purchase it. And looks like it's exactly what he's looking for to help transform his business and really put him on a solid follow-up plan for his clients. And it's really a plug-and-play solution. And I'm looking forward
Does
to
it have a
offering it.
name? Because I've seen the preview version.
Yeah, you have seen the preview version.
And it's amazing.
I don't know what I'm going to call it.
That's how good you are at sales. You sold it before the product's even fully developed and not yet marketed.
I did.
That's awesome.
What can I say? It's
right.
It's a really cool system though. I thought about running it like the ultimate email system or ultimate follow-up system or sales workflow is another name we had for it at one point. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but yeah.
We can record the infomercial next time.
Yeah, we'll have to buy now and get a free set of Ginsu knives. Oh. But wait, call the next
scratch-off card.
Call in the next 15 minutes. We'll waive one payment.
Oh.
You don't fall for those things, do you?
No.
I think your credit card bill says otherwise.
I have other weaknesses, but it's not TV infomercial.
That's it for our Bridal Show Expo session here today. I'm Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musni.
Catch us in Tampa coming up on Monday, January 25th. The Tampa Bay chapter of the American Disc Jockey Association, or the Tampa chapter, is actually getting a dose of a brand new seminar.
Yes.
That we are debuting jointly together. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we've also got a couple sessions coming up in Phoenix. Is that right?
Yes, Tuesday, February 9th for the Phoenix chapter of the ADJA, and Thursday, February 11th for Event Ensemble with Scott Faber and company.
Awesome. Looking forward.
And then I have a workshop that afternoon.
Yeah, looking forward to that, being a special guest on that trip. And then I'll be presenting to the Minneapolis NACE chapter, the keynote for their morning presentation. And that's going to be on Monday, February 15th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Catch us for that. And of course, coming up, oh my gosh, how could we forget? Mobile Beat.
I'm so excited for that show.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
I am absolutely geeked for that show. We still have seats available in both of our workshops. You can check out Vickie's workshop. Is going to be happening on Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. And yours is Sunday, all day, right?
Yeah, all day Sunday for the Sales of Solutions workshop, where we literally workshop through every step of the sales process. You'll get one-on-one coaching from myself, a Gitomer Certified Advisor, and it's really, really good hands-on content and will definitely help shape your sales process.
Lots of exciting opportunities and fun places to connect.
You can get more information on those at our websites, mitchtaylor.net
or VickieMusni.com.
And we will see you next time.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.